All right, guys. Hey, it's Jack. Here's another validation rule example. So this time, we'll make it so that a contact can't be saved unless two pick list fields say certain things. So in a way, they'll depend on each other. So basically, if one pick list is yes, then the other must be a yes. And if one says no, then the other must be no as well. And we'll use a fun example for this. So, and I'll also show the correct procedure for making and putting in these custom picklist fields into the formula and how to find out what your limit is per object for creating these validation rules. So first, let's make the required custom picklist fields. So if we go to contact, you're going to go to setup, go to the contact object, and I'll just make two picklist fields real quick. Contact, fields and relationships, new. So this is going to be a fun example, so bear with me on the name, etc. So this is going to be a pick list field. Allows users to select a value from a list you define. Next. Okay, and we're going to enter in our own values. It's going to be yes or no. So when someone's making a new contact, there's going to be a pick list field that says cool dude, and they're going to be able to check yes or no. And yeah, for this example, we'll make it required. So when you're making this type of custom pick list field, you're able to already make it so it's required if you check this box. So we'll do this one, and then we'll quickly make sure it's visible for everyone. And we will make a new one real quick for this example. Pick list, same thing. And it's going to be called likes guacamole. We're going to do yes or no for this one as well. So, and we'll make this one required also. So it's visible for everyone. So basically, here, let me save this to the page layout. Okay. So with these fields, when we're making a new contact, they should appear here. So it says cool dude and likes guacamole. So when someone's making a new contact, they are able to select yes or no, and yes or no for here. And since I already made them required when I was making the custom pick list, you have to select a value in order to proceed. So if I were just to do Mr. Harry Potter, I try to save it, it would say no because these fields have to be filled in. So with this said, we're going to make it so if it's a yes for likes guacamole, it has to be a yes for cool dude. In other words, if you like guacamole, then you have to be a cool dude. So let's make a validation rule to make that the case, because as of now you can select yes or no and you can be able to save it, and it doesn't matter at the moment. But let's make a validation rule to change that. So we're going to go back to here, Object Manager, Validation Rules. And we're going to make a new validation rule. Let's make it example 1 for this demonstration. And here, we're going to make a formula in this box here that when it evaluates to be true, there will be an error that shows. So here's the formula I am going to go with here. So and then we're going to do, if I can find is pick val, which basically means is the pick list value. So it's right here. So this is the format for the is pick val, and we're going to do another one as well. So those two custom fields that we made, the first one, let's do the cool dude. So we're going to replace this pick list field with contact and then cool dude. And then we're going to replace the second one with the likes guacamole. So let's find that. Here we go. So that's our custom fields. And cool dude, if that is yes, which is in parentheses, or excuse me, quotations. And here we're going to make this no. So, and then for the syntax, you add a comma for this one, and then you add a parenthesis here, and we should be able to see no errors found. So basically what this is saying is you can't be a cool dude if you don't like guacamole, right? Because if the picklist value for cool dude is yes, then you can't not like guacamole. So if you're a cool dude and you don't look like guacamole, there's an error. So the important thing to keep in mind here is we also want to make it so if someone enters a contact as yes for liking guacamole, but no to cool dude, we want this to show an error as well. So you can probably make some type of like advanced formula here or some nested and statement or whatever, but for simplicity, we're going to make another separate validation rule that's very similar to this. In fact, I'm going to copy this here and we'll make another validation rule changing these values to make this happen. So let's make this error message here. Be a cool dude if you don't like guacamole. So let's do save and new. Making another validation rule immediately. This is example 2. And instead of the other one, which is this one, we also want to make it so if someone enters the contact as yes to liking guacamole, but no to cool dude, then it should be an error. So let's switch these. And it should just say no errors found. So okay, so here is the error message here. So let's save this and let's test our 2 validation rules that we just made. So if we go back to our good friend Harry Potter here, we hit edit, and let's see what happens when we try to save this again with yes, he's a cool dude, but he does not like guacamole. So there should be an error tossed because if you're a cool dude, that must mean you like guacamole. So here is the error. Cannot be a cool dude if you don't like guacamole. Now let's switch it up because we made 2 validation rules. If you are not a cool dude and you like guacamole, that can't be the case because if you're a cool dude, you must like guacamole. So here it is. Here's the other validation rule. So that proves that our validation rule is in business. And you might be asking, how many validation rules can we make per object? And there's a way to check that, and it depends on the edition of Salesforce that you have. So you have to, in order to find the limit of validation rules per object that you have to you have to log into Salesforce Classic. So I'm going to demonstrate that here. Go to my profile. If I do switch to Salesforce Classic. And then once I switch to Salesforce Classic, I'm going to hit setup. And then once I hit setup, I'm going to hit build. I'm going to go to this build category. And then I go to customize, hit this arrow. And then let's go to contacts. So contacts, because that's what we were working on here. And we're going to go to limits. So here are the limits for the validation rules. So active validation rules. So I've only used 2 of the 100 that are available to me per object. And it says these limits apply to the setup of this object in your organization. So there's a question where it was, does that mean 100 for the entire org or just 100 for this object? And the answer is per object. So 100 validation rules I can have for the contact object, and I've only done 2. So I can have many more validation rules. And here is something I found when I looked on Google, is that there's 100. 100 is the limit for the enterprise and developer editions, and it's different for the other editions. So This is important to be aware of. So hopefully this was able to clear some doubts on validation rules, and I hope you guys enjoyed this other example of how to make a little more complex of a validation rule. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.